County Offaly is known as the Faithful County. That's where it comes from. The Faithful County has always had plenty of bogland. In actual fact, 500 square kilometres of the county are made up of actual bogland. In 1945, Bordamona was formed to exploit the economic potential of the bogs. It brought economic prosperity to the Midlands and in particular to the Faithful County, where the bulk of their operation was located. There were huge works in Derrygreena, Lura, Clonsass, Blackwater, Derrenlock and Lullamore, and these led to the development of peak fuel electricity power stations in Road, Port Harrington, Verban and Shannon Bridge, as well as briquette factories at Mount Lucas and Derrenlock. The bogs powered the economic development of the very young Irish state. They provided secure, well-paying jobs. There was hardly a house in these areas that didn't have at least one person employed with the board, as Bordamona was commonly known, or the ESB. At its height, the board employed 7,000 full-time workers, with another 3,000 hired for seasonal work, while it's estimated ESB stations accounted for almost 5,000 more jobs. In many cases, whole families over a couple of generations were employed. It was conservatively estimated that each of these jobs supported at least 3 other jobs in their communities. In the late 80s, early 90s, it all disappeared almost overnight. In 1987, I remember it well, I had my second child in March, and in May of that year, Bordamona announced they were letting go 3,000 workers in Offaly. 3,000. Mostly engineering and craftsmen were to be made redundant. And the sad thing about that announcement is it didn't even make the RTE news that night. My husband was one of those. It was the beginning of the end for cigarettes. The workshops closed, the massive machines as big as houses went silent and were left to rust. The power stations and the brick factories were levelled to the ground as if they never existed. The powerhouse of the country for 50 years disappeared in the blink of an eye. No wake, no funeral. For those from overseas, if you could imagine a colliery closing down, well, what happened to us was they all closed down at the same time. They have been replaced with wind farms and greenways, which provide no jobs. The economic impact was devastating and has left many small towns and villages depopulated. Commuting long hours to cities for employment is the reality for our current young people. This song is a lament for the thousands of bogmen who helped build the country we have today, and whose contribution to the development of our nation has been ignored and forgotten. And I've asked a very dear friend of mine and a proud son of Faithful County, Tyke Manor, to sing the song.
I look back upon my life in dreams of yesteryear. I think of friends and family and comrades I held dear. I see the blooming yellow flowers that sweetly scent the breeze. My heart fills with emotion, with memories such as these. So long to a way of living, so long to a way of life. There's no more work available to sustain the bogman's life. Where will work be found for them? Where will they have to roam? So far from all they've ever known and their faithful county home. When summer came and work began to harvest up the peat, they came from every village to labour in the heat. From early morn to end of day, they laboured late straight and long, and finished in the pub at night with a pint, perhaps a song. The work was good and it paid well. They came from far and wide, and many made their home here when they found themselves a bride. Family after family, as many could afford, had someone's son or daughter working daily with the board. With biscuit tin of sandwiches tucked safely under arm, they'd leave each morning early from village, cot and farm. They powered the nation's industry, they helped our country grow. What will happen to them now? Only God alone will know. The machines are all now silent, the bogman's day is done. On the scrap heap of posterity, their contributions flung. The shops and schools are closing, the houses empty lie. The Midlands and its people, their dreams are left to die. So long to a way of living, so long to a way of life. There's no more work available to sustain the bogman's life. Where will work be found for them? Where will they have to roam? So far from all they've ever known, and their faithful county home. The millers and the loaders, the baggers and the rakes, polythene-covered peat piles shimmering like lakes. The workers and the big machines, the peat piles and the trains, all gone at last and silent, will not be seen again. They say that this is progress with biodiversity, but it won't fill empty pockets or give jobs to you and me. They give us sun and wind farms, a blight upon the view, but not a single job they give to the likes of me and you. The faithful sons and daughters now toil much far away, commuting to the cities each and every day. Why not bring the jobs here? The cities had its share, but those that make decisions for the bogman, they don't care. We are the heart of Ireland, our bogs this country built. How dare they all now tell us, for this we should feel guilt. Remember, but for bogmen, where would we be today? We're entitled to a future, and we will have our say. So long to a way of living belong to a way of life. There's no more work available to sustain the bogman's life. Where will work be found for them? Where will they have to roam? So far from all they've ever known, and their faithful county